Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Old Time Rock and Roll. I'm your host, David Tear, where I've been featuring my top 3,000 songs of the rock era from 1954 to 1999. I know I'm making this one pretty late tonight. I've been very busy today. Sorry I couldn't get to this earlier, but I am still doing it. And anyway, the next song on my list is number 2911, and that is Diamonds by Herb Alpert. This was a hit from him. Top 10. I think it went to number 5. This was a top 10 hit in 1987, featuring lead vocals by Janet Jackson and backing vocals by Lisa Keith. I'll get to them later. But first, I want to talk some more about Herb Alpert. Anyway, this song, Diamonds, was featured on his 27th studio album. He was an amazingly successful artist. He had mostly instrumental hits. He was a soft jazz musician, and he got started very early. I mean, I'll just go through his big hits. His first big hit was in 1962. This was called "The Lonely Bull." That one went to number 6, I believe. Next was called "The Taste of Honey." I don't even know how all these songs sound. I'm sure I've heard them all, but I mean, they're all instrumental songs, and I just very rarely heard them on the radio. I think I've heard them on movies, or maybe I've heard them on parties. If you hear his songs, you recognize them right away. But I couldn't tell you the titles of most of his songs just from how they sound. But "Taste of Honey" that was another big hit of his in 1965. He also had a hit called "Zorba the Greek." I believe this was the theme song from the movie of the same title. And Zorba the oh yeah, here's a pic. Before I talk about that, I should say a couple of pictures of him. This is a picture of Herb Alpert when he was young. As you can see, he was a trombone player, trumpet player, a very good trumpet player. And there's a picture of him, a more recent picture. He's almost 89. He's still alive, and his birthday is on March 31st, just a couple days from today. So he's about to celebrate his 89th birthday. So I might as well say happy birthday to Herb Alpert. Hope you have a good 89th birthday. Been going strong for a long time, and we all love your music. But anyway, let's just go on about his hits. So yeah, Zorba the Greek. That was featured in a wonderful movie, the same title, starring Anthony Quinn. He's the guy on the right. He was supposed to be an old Greek guy, kind of a free spirit, very decadent guy, trying to liven up this very backwards town in Crete where he was living, I guess, maybe in the 1920s, 1930s. I don't even know when the movie's supposed to take place, but uh, you have to see the movie. It's a very good movie, and the guy on his left is his friend that was played by Alan Bates. I forget his name in the movie, but he basically, teaches Alan Bates how to be a free spirit like him, because Alan Bates starts out kind of uptight. But it's a very good movie. I highly recommend it. And anyway, I just thought I'd mention that movie. But some other hits of his biggest hit, actually, he had two number one hits. I'll just go back to pictures of him, I guess. His number one hits were in 1968. He hit number one with actually, I think this was the only vocal hit I know of by him. It was called "Disguise in Love with You." Beautiful song. It was written by Burt Bacharach. Maybe Hal David collaborated. I'm not sure. Burt Bacharach wrote, and Hal David were a very good composing team. They wrote several good songs together. I'm sure you've heard of most of them. But "This Guy's in Love with You" was one of their biggest hits, and Herb Alpert sang a beautiful version of that song. And his other number one, this is interesting trivia. He had one other number one song. His other number one was called "Rise," and that was an instrumental hit. And I believe he was the only artist of the rock era to have a number one vocal hit and a number one instrumental hit. So I just thought I'd mention that. And then I guess he didn't have any hits after Rise until Diamonds. I think Diamonds was his last big hit. And that one, like I mentioned, featured Janet Jackson on lead vocals. I think this was the first hit featuring Jack. You know, as you guys, I'm sure all know, Janet Jackson was Michael Jackson's brother of the Jackson Five. They were I mean, everybody in the world knows about the Jackson family. Probably one of the most famous musical families of all time, probably even more famous than the Von Trapps. Um, but yeah, I think Janet is a wonderful singer. She's still singing. She's one of the biggest music artists of all time, I think, almost as big as her brother Michael was. I'm not a huge fan of Michael Jackson, but I do really like Janet Jackson. I think Janet has a beautiful voice. I think she does really good songs, does really good choreography, and her career kind of got started with the song Diamonds. So I do have some other songs by Janet on my top 3,000. I also have a lot of songs by Michael, even though I'm not a huge fan. Uh, but anyway, I just thought I'd mention that. And the other woman who sang on this song, the one who did the backing vocals, is this woman here, Lisa Keith, who I don't know much about her, but I believe she's also a very successful singer. So anyway, maybe the song Diamonds launched both of their careers. I don't know much about Lisa Keith, like I said. But I think Diamonds is an okay song. The thing I don't like about it so much is the message. I mean, basically, diamonds are a girl's best friend. And yeah, that's an old cliche, an old saying. Unfortunately, it's true for a lot of women. I wish it wasn't. I mean, I'm not materialistic myself, and I don't want to fall in love with another materialistic woman. I already fell in love with a couple of them, and I'm just kind of done with that. I want a woman to love me for who I am, even if I don't have a lot of money. Like Elton John singing your song, "My gift is my song. This one's for you." I hope that's good enough for any of you women out there. But anyway, that's my profile on Diamonds by Herb Alpert. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.